Did you know that in February 2023, the weekly all-time high for inflows set by retail investors reached 1.5 billion pounds? So that's billion with a B, and that's money invested into the markets by retail investors, people like you and I collectively who are investing into the markets. Now, as retail investors, we've come a very long way within a relatively short period of time. We don't have these huge barriers to entry to prevent us from investing in the markets. And whilst we've been taking control of where we invest, how we invest, who we invest with, we're breaking records like this and continue to lead the way to show that the rise of the retail investor is real. And when you think about retail investors, there are lots of strategies that often get discussed. In this video, I want to talk about auto investing as a strategy to streamline your investment process. But is it the right kind of strategy for you? Let's find out together. Auto investing is a strategy where investments are made on a regular basis without a direct intervention from the investor. So in other words, this is a way for you to streamline your investment process, make the investment experience a little bit more enjoyable because you physically don't have to remember to transfer X amount from your bank account into your investment portfolio every single month. It's streamlined, it's automated. It just means that you can spend the time doing things that you would rather be doing, which might be making sure that your health and well-being is top notch, focusing on family, business, or maybe just doing a little bit more traveling and enjoying the world and enjoying good weather. There are lots of pros and cons when it comes to auto investing, and we're going to talk a little bit about those later on in this video. But what I do want to do is show you how easy it is to set up auto investing. I'm going to be using XTB as the example here. They are the sponsors of this video. And we've done a couple of videos with them previously talking about how you can actually invest without being overexposed to places like maybe the States, for example. And we also did something where you can build a portfolio full of ETFs that gives a passive income. There were some important questions that we raised there. So that's what I'm going to show you next. Let's jump into the XTB app. So here we are in the XTB app, and I've created an investment plan for the purposes of this video. Now, just a word on investment plans. Investment plans are a great way for you to invest with intent and focus, because what you're able to do here is you're able to add any number of ETFs into a portfolio that you believe is going to help you achieve your financial goals for the future. And it could be buying your first home, it could be retiring early, it could be paying kids' school fees, whatever your goal might be. But what I've done here is I've just added 4 random ETFs for the purpose of this video. So what you can see here is you can see the iShares Core MSCI Japanese ETF, you can see the iShares Automation and Robotics ETF, the iShares Core MSCI World ETF, and the S&P 500. Now the beauty about investment plans is you get full customization ability with this setup. So for me, in this example, I've set this up so that the largest proportion of my money would go into the MSCI World ETF at 40%. The next largest ETF for me in terms of exposure money going into it is the S&P 500, and then we've got an equal split across automation and robotics and the Japanese ETF. Now the beauty is this is fully customizable. You can change your mind, and I'll show you this in a moment. But let me just go back quickly and let's have a look at how you would set up auto invest, because literally you can do it within 2-3 minutes. It is very, very simple. So the auto invest button is here. Click on that. And what you would then do is go continue. You need to deposit funds. Now, when you do this, there are choices around how you want to do it. So you have payment card options, or you could do a bank transfer. And when you select the option that you want, it will ask you how much you want to have as a regular deposit into this investment plan and these ETFs that have been selected. Now, just as an example, if for example you said that you wanted to have £100 every single month transferred into your investment plan, let's just go back into the allocation and I can tell you exactly what will happen. Now, if it's £100 that you've chosen, you'd have £15 go into the Japanese and automation and robotics ETFs. That's across the two of them £30. Then you'd have £40 go into the world ETF, and £30 go into the S&P 500. And again, if you wanted to tweak this, so let's just say you wanted more money, the S&P 500, say let's up this 5%, you would up it, and then maybe you might have to reduce your exposure to Japan by that 5%. So you get full customization, full control over how much of your money goes into each of these ETFs. It is really that simple to set up. Auto investing can be really, really good for beginning investors, particularly if you are new to this and you'll find it a little daunting, a little bit overwhelming to deal with. I believe strongly that as a beginner investor, you need to try and keep things as simple as possible. So it can be difficult enough sometimes selecting the provider that you want and maybe even building a portfolio or an investment plan like I've just shown you in the example here. So once you've got past those stages where you have selected and you've built your portfolio, you want to keep the rest of it really as simple as possible. And having that automated payment into your investment plan is really just one of those things that in the long run, you'll be thankful for because you don't have to physically remember to do this on a regular basis. The second set of people that this might be really good for is busy individuals. Look, life is busy enough as it is with work, family, business commitments, you name it. You know, one of the last things that you want to probably be doing is sitting there trying to transfer money to your investment every single month. So having this streamlined so that you have that investment going in on a regular basis is again a huge benefit and something that you'll be thankful for having automated. Long-term investors, as you know, when you're investing, you really should be thinking in a long-term basis. We know that the markets return best over the longer term. And for long-term investors who have put this in place, because it's on autopilot, it's just something that is just running on tracks. And again, it's not going to be this monthly burden or thing that you have to remember to do. Now let's start with the cons first. It is true that sometimes you have limited customization, but this is very much down to how you've chosen to invest in the providers that you use. Now with XTB, as I've shown you in the investment plan, you have the ability to add any number of ETFs into your portfolio and also have control over how your money is going to be allocated within your portfolio. So you don't necessarily have limited customizations with XTB, but it can be an issue if you are picking a provider that perhaps doesn't give you the ability to choose your own ETFs and gives you control over how much money you have spread and how it's spread in your portfolio. Another disadvantage is fees. Now, fees are a thing. They're just a natural occurrence in the investment world and across the business world as a whole. Many YouTubers will tell you that it is about keeping your cost as low as possible. And to a certain extent, that is true. But cheapest isn't always best. The way I look at this is to say that, look, you have to compare the service that you're getting for the value that you're receiving and ask yourself whether you're happy to pay the level of fees that you have. Now, with XTB specifically, they have a fee structure. I'm going to pop it right here. These are things that you need to know. Is this going to be a good deal for you? Only you will be able to answer that question. So fees are a consideration. Make sure that you're happy with the fees that you're paying and make sure that you're getting the value that you would want from your service provider. Now, there is a dependence on technology, obviously. We're talking about auto investing here. So this is an automation. Technology sometimes doesn't work. There are bugs. And I think if you're going to use auto investing, whilst it is going to be on autopilot for you, just be aware that if things don't work, you may have to step in to ensure that you don't miss any contributions into your investment plan. So just be mindful of that. The last one is potential for overlooking better opportunities. And I think this is a really important one to talk about because yes, you can add as many ETFs into your portfolio as you want. Yes, you can have control over how your money is spread across your portfolio and your ETFs. However, depending on how you invest it, so let me just give you this example. Let's just say you are invested in green energy companies, right? And let's just say because of a occurrence around the globe, you see oil shares spike. That's an opportunity that you potentially miss out on because if you're not invested in oil companies because you're going on the green agenda, that means that you potentially miss that opportunity. Now, this is always going to be something that potentially happens when you invest. You're not going to be able to capture everything, especially when you think about diversification. You might have some exposure, but not as much as you would like. So when you are investing in this way, it is always a good idea to make sure that you're reviewing your portfolio on a regular basis, just to make sure that your investment plan is aligned with where you want to go and aligned with your goals. The first one is convenience. Having it auto invested, as I've said a number of times with this video, just means that you don't have to worry about making that money transfer from your bank into your investment portfolio so you can start to create wealth. Convenience is one of those key things that I think a lot of us enjoy and it introduces efficiency into your investment process. The next one is discipline. Having a disciplined approach, because the money is going in regardless of what happens, is key to your success as an investor. It is really that simple. I know that sometimes, and we'll talk about this a little bit later on, we can get very emotional about how we invest and we can allow emotions to take over. So how do we feel when the markets are down? And we might say, let's skip this month. That isn't always the best idea in 100% of the cases. So having this discipline, this regimented system where money is going into the markets regardless, is going to be a benefit to your journey over the long term. Low point of entry. We talked about the fact that we no longer have these huge barriers to entry. In my day, you needed £5,000 to begin investing. Now you can do this. You can set up an auto invest mandate for as little as £100 a month. Some providers even lower. There is very, very low point of entry for this. And more than anything else, that means that you can start sooner than you would have if you perhaps wanted to wait until you had £1,000. Participation in the market is really important. And a phrase comes to mind, it's all about time in the market in opposed to timing the market. Pound cost averaging. The benefit of being able to buy into the stock market, regardless of what's going to happen, has been shown over the long term to be beneficial for people who may not necessarily have a lump sum of money to go into the markets in one go. And how pound cost averaging effectively works in layman's terms is, as you invest, the markets might be going up. And because prices are going up, the units, the amount of stuff that you can buy as the prices rise will be obviously less and less as the price goes higher and higher, but you are gaining a rising asset. But on the flip side, where the markets might be coming down, you'll be able to gain more of what you're buying because the price is actually coming down. And over the long term, we know that definitely benefits investors. So look, that's just the rundown of how auto investing works as a strategy. I would love to know whether this is something that you're already doing, something that you're thinking about doing, or something that you think, actually, for me, it doesn't work. I would rather just have that monthly transfer that I do manually into my investment account because it allows me to remain accountable and it allows me to look at my investment portfolio. There is no right or wrong answer to this. It's really about what works for you. So let me know in the comment section down below. I want to encourage you also, go check out XTB and their investment plans. If you're just starting out specifically, or you might be a relatively novice or intermediate investor, being able to invest with intent and focus is absolutely key. It's like running a marathon without really having a goal of, I want to smash a PB or I want to be able to do it in this particular time. It can be hard at the best of times. So having focus and intent is really important to make sure that you have the ability to continue on your journey and you're actually aiming for something that's tangible. There will be a link down in the description for you to check out. It is completely free. Do that for me. And again, thank you so much for watching this video. I know that, YouTube sometimes is long form content. Well, I call it short form, but it's really long form for many people because we have reels these days. So thank you for watching. Thank you for your engagement. If you haven't already subscribed, please consider doing so. And don't forget to smash the like button. I'll see you on the next one. Cheers.